ká má parọ́, mo rẹwà nínú aṣọ yìí.
Ibo ti rí.
Kan nú àwọn
alágbára ìlú kò sí. Wọ́n máa retí àǹfààní láti jọ ní ìbáṣepọ̀ tó dánmọ́.
Labake Olododo. It's actually a drama epic movie from Nigeria. It's a Yoruba movie, and it was directed by Biodun Stefan and produced by Iyabo Ojo. It's really a star-studded movie. There's a lot of Nollywood movie stars featuring in the movie. And I've seen the movie. In fact, I've seen it twice. And my take on the movie, seeing it the first time and seeing it the second time, it ended up being a bit different. You know, you really need to see the movie to understand. So the story is about a female warrior lord who is intertwined in a generational conflict of revenge. And let's just say she has good values and her character is well balanced, but she ends up trusting the wrong person, and that is the source of our downfall. We see a lot of themes like betrayal, greed. We see a generational theme that, you know, happens all the time, how one sex betrays the other sex, and you know how these relationship things go now. So that was also one of the major themes. There is a very strong theme of betrayal that is portrayed very subtly, but actually happens to be one of the major driving force of the movie itself. Even though the movie is advertised as a warrior or a war film, it's not really a war film per se. So if you're going into the cinema or you want to watch it with the mindset of seeing a war movie, you might be disappointed. But that aside, the movie is top-notch. It's not your regular Nigerian movie. I will give them that. They really put a lot of thought into it. The movie shows in detail a lot of the Yoruba culture, beliefs, tradition, our outfits. It is actually one of the movies that show Nigerian Yoruba culture in a very beautiful light. Contrary to what the internationals, like maybe the US or UK, usually they have this tendency to make documentaries about Africa or Nigeria. They tend to put out this narrative like as if we live in the ground, like we have zebras living with us, you understand? But this movie shows the beauty of the African culture and the spirituality. There's the superstition. The point is, if you're looking for something that will make you proud as a Yoruba person, I think the movie did just that. Talking about the acting, like I said, it's a star-studded play. This is one of the movies I have seen where they were very particular about every detail. Even people who had just one appearance or two were very intentional about their roles, and almost every character was a known face. So even if you're just a waka pass, like everything was intentional. The acting was on point. The lead character, who played by Iyabo Ojo, I have never seen Iyabo Ojo I've never seen her in that light. That's a character I've never seen her play. It's a bit masculine, with a lot of energy. It's totally different from a natural character in real life. And she did a wonderful job. I have to give her 110% over 100. Yes. Wonderful job. Femi Adebayo, Fetia Balogun, a host of others, like name stars. You will see a lot of them in the movie. The set was built. It's difficult to believe that the set was built because of the intricacy of the detail. Like, you would think they just went somewhere and went to act the film, but it was actually built and they put in so much detail. Like, it was beautiful. Oh my God, I'm blushing as a Yoruba woman. But the set was actually very nice. Applause to the set man or set woman or set people. Let's not be sexist. It could be a woman or a man. Anybody could have done it. One of the things I really liked about the movie was there's this thing Nigerian movies tend to have. They are very predictable. You know, you've not seen so much of it, but you can tell where the movie is going. This is one of those movies that you really can't tell where it's going. You know, there's this thing where you can tell the story from different phases of the movie. They told the story from the past, from the present, from the past. They kept going back and forth, but in a very balanced way. So if you paid attention, you would actually understand, you know, what the movie is trying to say. The director actually did a very wonderful job. The writer, because I believe most the basics of the story, the editing, the directing would still boil down to, you know, the writer and the director, you know, having a very good idea of what they wanted. So the writer and the director, I give them kudos. I'm not disappointed. In fact, I will say that it's not unexpected considering that the director is Biodun Stefan. She has done a lot of wonderful movies. I like when I see a movie and they say it's directed by Biodun Stefan, I kind of have like a huge expectation. I'm not expecting to be disappointed. And on this movie set, she delivered. In fact, I'm surprised because I don't think I've ever seen her direct a Yoruba movie. And then seeing her and Iyabo Ojo working on a project together was because I watched the movie and I was like, who directed this movie? And when I searched, I was like, what this woman do Yoruba movie? Like, I was surprised, but I'm satisfied. They satisfied me. You know, to be honest, it's not every day I watch a movie and I'm not complaining from the beginning to the end. But I'm still watching it though, and I will still finish it because, I mean, you can't judge a movie without finishing it. The pace of the movie was pretty nice for a Yoruba movie. Not even for a Yoruba movie, for a movie in general. The movie was tip-tap. There wasn't any unnecessary dialogues or things. They did not show anything that was not driving the movie forward. You know, this unnecessary 7 minutes, 5 minutes scene that we've gotten the point. What are you still doing there? We didn't have it in that movie. Everything was tip-tap, tip-tap, tip-tap. And it was really nice. The flow, the timing, the momentum, everything was on point. You know, the building, everything like beautifully, the climax, everything was just lovely. The ending, there's but there, I will not lie, but I'm coming back to that one. All in all, the movie was pretty nice. Of course, it can never be too perfect, but I'll say that it was one of the very few movies where even if you go to watch it in the cinema, you will not be disappointed. But there were some lingering questions. There were some topics that I felt maybe we were kind of sending the wrong message. But then the director has a right to use whatever they choose in order to, you know, achieve what they're trying to do. Like where we the character Labake, you know, gets her downfall because she falls in love with a man, and through that man, they used him, you know, to get. It's kind of like, you know, painting the idea of in a bad light, even though, you know, that happens a lot in real life. In both ways, it could be the woman, it could be the man, but like I said, the writer has a right to use whatever they choose to achieve what they want. In the end, the man and every other person who betrayed her were just tools. And that is actually one of the things that, if you don't really take your time to watch the movie very well, probably it might take you watching it 2 times in order to really understand the depth of the movie, because it's not like your regular Nigerian film where everything is so out there, where they just showed one scene now and they're showing you again to prove a point that you already know. You know, they didn't spoon feed the audience. They did it in a way that they understand that the audience is an intelligent person and they should be able to figure out these things, because these things are obvious if you actually take your time to watch the movie. You know, like I said betrayal is one of the major elements and themes of the movie. It seems almost, you won't even quickly notice that it is one of the major driving forces of the movie itself, but it actually is. And then some people will say, oh, Jaye is a bad person, is a this, is a that. But if you look at it, even Jaye was just a tool. It was used. And literally everybody that betrayed her was actually a tool. But in the end, Jaye was the one that suffered. Even though Jaye was the one that actually really liked her, even though he betrayed. Like I said, I had some questions. Like one of my questions was the Balogun, the Iluolugu, where they came to ask for help. I mean, they have their own Balogun. It is a bit, it's difficult to understand because in Yoruba culture, you cannot be a Balogun and still be a coward. So you are portraying somebody to be the Balogun of a town and the person is still a coward and you cannot give us a reason to believe that. You just put it because it's going to drive your story forward. That's one of the flaws. That's one of the major flaws I saw in the movie because that particular thing was important in order for them to achieve what they were trying to, the story they were I've seen what people have said online about the movie. They say the acting is good, the set, the light, the design, and I have also noticed a consistent criticism of the story, of the writing style, of the way the story is developed. I might be the only one that disagrees, but I strongly say that that movie is one of the best told stories in Nollywood of today. Like, it's one thing to have a story, it's another thing to know how to tell it and you know, without spoon-feeding the audience and still get the right thing. I think it was wonderful. Like, I feel it takes a lot of proficiency and intelligence to be able to do that. And that's how most international movies are made. Maybe we are not used to that in Nigeria, but I think it was wonderful. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the way the story was. The other problem for me is we see the daughter and the father in this last scene where she's having some incantations, and then we don't understand the outcome of what just happened. In that one, to me, I don't understand. I don't know what to say really happened because it's not. But all in all, it's a nice movie. If you're looking for good entertainment, it is a good choice. If you're thinking of going to see it in the cinema, I can assure you it's not a waste of money. It's going to be one of the best value for your money. Anyway, this is the Global Movie Map, and we always discuss movies from all over the world, in Nollywood, in Hollywood, Bollywood, anime, anything you can imagine. As long as it's a movie and it's nice, we'll bring it here, we'll evaluate it, and sometimes we'll recommend movies for you to even see. You know, there's some movies that you totally did not even know they existed, but they are like treasures. They're just there in the sand. We'll bring it up. If you liked this video, don't forget to like Tikula. I mean, I can't do this without you. Without you, I'm nothing. Please like and subscribe to my... Okay, I am Sumisola Olusi. And until next time, bye.